do y'all have? Anything else from the terms? That, I believe, was roughly the last article from the first chapter, and then that would take us into the Constitution if y'all had nothing else from up here. So we're good? All right, let's go to chapter 3 then. Chapter 3, the Constitution chapter. This is probably going to be the chapter that's going to be the biggest one on the exam, and I believe I've mentioned this on a number of occasions. This has obviously got some language. There are more movies. When you go back to this, we've got the preamble from Schoolhouse Rock. We got the Declaration of Independence from Schoolhouse Rock. We've got With Honors, which was the Joe Pesci clip talking about the genius of the Constitution on here. So we've got those 3 movies right there. Any questions about anything that y'all see up here? Not full faith and credit clause. What did the full faith and credit clause do? Anybody? Go ahead, Walter.
Basically, each state has to accept each citizen, no matter they're coming from another state.
Each citizen, like what in reference?
I live here and I moved to like New York, and then they have to still accept, give me all the benefits that include something else.
You might be mixing it up a little bit. Go ahead, Kazra.
Like states have to recognize other states like laws.
Yeah, states have got to recognize other state documents. Give me some examples of other state documents.
Like if you get married here.
Marriage licenses. Anything else? Driver's license is another legal document. Anything else? Warrants, court rulings, that kind of a thing. Makes perfect sense. So you got driver's license, marriage certificates, court warrants. These are all things that would deal with recognizing other state documents. Under the full faith and credit clause, if you receive a legal document from another state, whether it's a state document, whether it's a contract from that other state, driver's license, these kinds of things, that other state that you move to is bound to recognize it. What's the exception that we talked about?
Gay marriage.
Gay marriage. The idea is that not all states recognize that. So if you have a gay marriage in a state that does and you move somewhere else, you're not going to be married when you go to the new state. Yes?
Wouldn't another exception be gun ownership too? On that state, you'd have to write up a new document for that.
Gun ownership would, there different states are going to have different laws, yes. For our purposes for the exam, don't worry about that. I promise not to ask you anything about guns in reference to full faith and credit. What else do y'all have?
Preamble.
What's the preamble? What does the preamble do, basically, Talisa? The preamble is the introduction to the United States Constitution. We the people, in order to form a more perfect union, and it continues on. But what ultimately does it do? Go ahead.
It's talking about property. Isn't that the part that we were talking about?
Doesn't do anything.
Something else.
It's talking about property.
Freedom, poverty, and life, liberty, and...
Now that's the Declaration of Independence. Be careful to not confuse these two, because that's what that is. Kazra.
It has no legal...
The preamble has no legal significance whatsoever. So when you think about it, it says things like domestic tranquility and to the military and whatnot. You cannot sue and have any right enforced based upon the preamble of the United States Constitution. It is an introduction, but it is not considered part of the document. Yeah, go ahead, Ben.
Original intent.
What was original intent? Go ahead, Andrew.
It's a way of interpreting the Constitution.
Okay, and what is it based on?
You try to figure out what they were, what reasons they had behind the laws.
Yeah, with original intent, what you're going to do is you're going to go back and interpret the Constitution based upon what you think the meaning was for the Founding Fathers. So with this in mind, what you're going to do is go back and basically look up the old records, look up the old debates, look up the old transcripts, and apply their principles to current day issues. Can you give me an example of an issue that I used to demonstrate original intent? Both of them were moral. What about polygamy?
More than one wife or husband.
Is it legal in the United States? No. Why? Because you're right. Why is polygamy not legal using original intent? Anybody?
Because Mormonism didn't exist back then.
Yeah, polygamy is associated with Mormonism, and when they dealt with this case right around the time of the Civil War, they basically took a look at it and they said, okay, was Mormonism present back then? No. So the Founding Fathers couldn't have anticipated protecting this, so we're going to use the original intent of the framers. You would think when it says, Congress shall make no law, that no means no. Well, not so fast.